Welcome back to the Blacklist. This is my second ever video. So, the first video, all right, if you haven't watched it, go check it out. It's only about 10 minutes long. I showed you guys how I would personally allocate my first ever 10K, most of which ETFs, about one third of it towards individual stocks and short-term trades, the remaining portion for day trades. Really good video. Go check it out right after this one. This video here, I'm going to give you guys one of my biggest gems, okay? If you've ever tuned into any of my live sessions, whether it's TikTok and or YouTube, you know this is the first thing I review. Financials. Does the company make money? It's really as simple as that. I know a lot of you guys learn trading, technicals, candlestick patterns, trends, indicators, Fibonacci retracements, all that stuff. Believe me when I say this, especially for you swing traders slash investors, financials is probably the most important thing that you could ever learn about a company. And as long as you're comfortable holding 6 to 12 months, you're about to see why it's the biggest gem I probably have. It's where I start before I dive into any company at all. Allow me to show you guys why. Here's Micron. Okay, we're doing this video here in July. But if you go here, which I'm on TradingView, all of this is free on TradingView. I have no sponsorship with TradingView. I'm not pushing it on you guys, but all of this data I personally use is from TradingView. Now, you click that there, you go to the financials statements, look at quarterly. I do annual and quarterly, annual first and quarterly. But I want to show you guys something, okay? The reason why a company like Micron can have the jump that it just had is look at this here, okay? This financials, it tells you everything about a company that you need to know, and it lets you know when a company is going to start making money hand over fist. Therefore, their stock price is going to indicate that jump as well. If anybody was paying attention to Micron, all right, for the last 2 or 3 years, you would have seen, okay, 2024 Q1, this company was negative $1 billion. And then guess what? All of a sudden, you would have started to see the change coming. 2024, 170 million, 17, right, 715 million, excuse me, 1.54, 2.15, then all of a sudden Q2 2025. All right. This company went from literally negative income to all of a sudden in 2024 started making real money hand over fist. This is a net income number here, okay? I'll just on the pre-tax, but right here's the net income. You don't need to review anything else. You don't need to learn all of this. That's for accounting purposes. Net income number is all you guys care about. Q1 of 2024, they were still in the negatives. Immediately after that Q1, something started to happen where this company started to jump drastically. Okay. You can see the positive numbers happening. And then sure enough, later on in 2025, that's when the real jumps and the real gains started happening. Now we're in 2026, you see the real money pouring in. And you see why the stock has gone up from 400 to 800 bucks. But pay attention to something. If you had caught this Q1 of 2024, right, when it had just started then turning positive, look at the price you would have known to get into Micron at. Q1 2024. Just actually pay attention to this with me. 2024, this is literally Q1 2024. For those of you who don't know Qs or quarters, that's all that means. It's a quarter one. Look at this here price. You would have literally known January through March is Q1. You would have known to get into Micron somewhere in the $100 range. And then even if you didn't catch it there because they had to report the earnings in Q2 and Q3, you had a pullback back below 100 bucks. And then you even had a $60 entry here. Mind you, this came in 2025 when they started to report ridiculous numbers, right? That dip in the 60 range, okay? Go back to financials, go to quarters. 2025, they were already reporting net income ridiculous numbers. You're talking 1.58 billion in net income a quarter every 90 days. So you would have had that $60 dip literally in 2025. You could have gotten Micron in the $60, $80 range if you had been studying these here financials. Maybe you guys think this is a one-off. No worries. Allow me to then go show you another company that has done well as of recent, MBIS, right? If you had just been studying the financials, okay, and got away from all these candles, All these chart technicals that people love to teach so much, allow me to show you. NBIS, you can literally see it happening here. Okay. Net income 2024, nothing but negatives, nothing but negatives. You would have immediately seen a bump here. You see this Q2 2025, you would have said, hold on, time out, flag on the play. Hold on. Something is brewing with this company, right? How do you go from making all this negative money, literally not being able to turn over a dollar, to all of a sudden over 500 million in one quarter? This happened in Q2 2025, and then all of a sudden, okay, red, 621 million in another quarter, right? If you had spotted this jump in Q2 of 2025, guess what? MBIS Q2 2025, here you go, right here. Q2 of 2025 is literally here. So you would have gotten MBIS in the $40, $20 range, people. $40, $20 range. A company that now, as of recent, just surpassed 300 bucks or almost, yeah, got to $300. A year later, just a year later, you would have known, right? If you were paying attention to financials instead of all these candlesticks, indicators, EMAs, RSIs, Fibonacci, all that bullshit that I know you normally find on YouTube and all these other platforms from day traders and futures traders and prop firm traders. If you were just following the money and financials, spotted this early on, you would have known to get micron under 100 in the $60 to $80 range and just hold for a year. You would have caught the jump to 800 and then 1200 for just a year. And then you would have also got MBIS in the $40 to $60 range, maybe even 20 bucks if you were really aggressive. I'm showing you guys real life proof of these companies that have recently taken off due to their incomes. Okay? Due to their incomes. I'm showing you real companies here, right? Their incomes drastically increased, hand over fist, and then all of a sudden, guess what? Price followed. Okay? This is what it looks like when you catch a company that's making real money instead of these spec companies that are unprofitable, right? And then I believe I'm going to show you guys one more. I think it's Intel or Dell. Bear with me here. I'm going to check. I think it might be Intel. Let me just see something here. You know what? I know of a company. CRDO. Here's another one, right? Allow me to show you guys this, okay? Financials, quarterly. Look at CRDO. Yeah. Where is their net income? Here we go. Q3 of 2024. You guys see this? See how they were just negative, right? Negative, negative, negative 10 million, negative 9 million, negative 4 million. All of a sudden, ooh, hold on. Flag on the play. You guys just had a 6,000% quarter. 6,000. You went from negative 4 million to positive 30 million net. That means after all expenses, people, I need you guys to understand how important net is. After everything, you just jumped 6,000% in one quarter. Okay, let's see what's going on here. And then sure enough, right, if you go from Q3 2024, CRDO, okay, 2024, Q3, this is Q3 right here. This company would have given you a pop in 2025 and then literally pulled back to $40. You could have gotten CRDO in the $40, $50, $60 range. You could have just picked one. After they showed you that 6,000% jump, it then pulled back to the $40 to $60 range before it proceeded a year or two later to go break $300. This is three totally different companies, all separate from one another, where I just showed you three different examples where if you were just studying the financials, stop following candlesticks, stop following indicators, quit it. Follow the money in the data. The money never lies. People lie all the time. I lie. Elon lies, right? Shit. Bloomberg lies. CNBC. Everyone lies. The money never does. And then I'll show you prime examples of companies that make no money. And while they are falling off the face of the map, most recently, and the most popular one, SpaceX, right? For any of you out there who bought this IPO, allow me to enlighten you. Financials. They don't even have a quarterly, so we have to just do annually. All right. Here we go. Want to know why this company is just falling off of the map and why you should have never bought this IPO and why I informed the entire blacklist we're never touching this? Negative 4.94 billion. Quite literally the exact opposite of all those really good companies I just showed you. This was a no-brainer, do not touch IPO. Literally a no-brainer. Why? They simply make no money. When you start to follow the financials and the data, you get to ignore all the hype, all the BS, follow the money. I have a saying that I say on every live, and the blacklist knows this religiously. If a company cannot make themselves money, why in the world would you ever trust them to make you money? That's like the fat person at the gym saying, hey, I'm fat, but I'm going to get you a six pack. Why would you believe that ever? It doesn't make sense. Stop trading these terrible companies, and SpaceX is just one of them. For any of you out there who are in rocket labs, right? This entire sector, I knew to not touch this either. I'm going to do ASTS next. Don't worry. Here goes rocket labs. For those of you wondering, oh man, I thought this was going to shoot to the moon. Why would you ever think this was going to shoot to the moon? They do nothing but lose money. Why would you trust them to make you money when they can't even make themselves money? For what? For what? This is when then people have to start. Look at this fall. Whenever you see a pump like this, which by the way, this was pre-SpaceX, whenever you see companies that are not profitable pumping up like this, pure speculation, pure hype, pure momentum. We only trade and invest in really good companies here inside the blacklist, guys. You guys need to start being able to identify really good companies from spec and hype. This entire step, right? This entire sector was nothing but spec and hype. It should have never went up. And for those who were buying it off spec and hype instead of following actual financials and data, you deserve to be poor. You deserve to get caught holding the bag. This is literally one of my biggest gems inside the blacklist. If you join up, you'll realize it's my second or third module right after a certain percentage pullback that I look for, and I know when to start looking at companies' financials. It's literally the very second video I teach. I only say second or third because I don't know if my intro video counts, but I hope this helps some of you guys. All right. A lot of you like to find these really cheap companies, $10, $20, and then I go and look into them and I'm like, yeah, they're not profitable. Why would you ever touch them? Cheap doesn't mean good. It means they don't know how to make money. And if they don't know how to make themselves money, you then have to deal with people talking about, oh, projection growth and eventually, and someday SpaceX is going to put things on the moon and maybe they're going to strike a deal with Anthropic. Yeah, all this is just speculation and hype. I don't risk my hard-earned money on possibilities. I risk it on is this company making money today? Because you want me to risk my hard-earned money today. I encourage you all to start thinking that way. Not financial advice. I'm just telling you what I do with my money. Hope to see you guys inside the blacklist. Link in the bio. See you soon.